Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca, and in this week's video, I'll be drawing an original artwork on my iPad and setting my art goals for 2025. This is a bit late, but Happy New Year! I'm back from my break and I'm ready to jump back into making videos. For this video, I wanted to talk about my goals for 2025 since I've been thinking a lot about the upcoming year and what my goals are for it. One goal I want to continue from last year is the goal of creating a personal piece each month. If you watched this video, you know that many of my personal pieces ended up being my favorites. So even though it can be a bit tricky to keep up with, I wanted to do this goal again for 2025. The artwork I'll be working on in this video is actually my personal piece for January. You will notice that I'm drawing on my iPad instead of my usual PC setup. I was in the mood to give Clip Studio Paint on the iPad a try again, since I really enjoyed it last time. I've been wanting to use it again because I've been wondering if my iPad will be my temporary way of getting work done once the baby is born. In case you haven't been here in a while, yes, I am pregnant and I'm currently 24 weeks. So yeah, since I'm contemplating with the idea of my iPad being my main drawing tool for a little while, I wanted to draw on it again. I am currently working in simple mode. If you want to learn more about it, you can watch this video. The simple mode in Clip Studio Paint is very different from the studio layout that I'm used to, so I'm still getting used to it and what's available to me. I am currently sketching out the character. I wanted the pose to feel airy and floaty. Also, because of the inspiration and concept for this picture, I drew the character pregnant. I don't draw pregnant characters very often, and if I wasn't currently pregnant, it may have challenged me a bit. But since I am used to looking at my pregnant tummy, I found it to be pretty easy to draw. I will talk more in depth about the concept of this picture later in the video, but the idea that I wanted to convey is the coexistence of both joy and sadness, and how you can be experiencing both of them very strongly at the same time. So we have the current character that I'm drawing that is representing joy or happiness. She has a more calm and happy expression, and her colors are going to be more bright and lively. Then we will have the second character that represents sadness. She will of course look sad and be crying. I'm also going to make her colors much darker and muted. Also, some people might think, why did you copy the first character for the second character? Were you just being lazy? And I guess you could say yes, I was being lazy. But I purposely wanted the characters to be identical, almost like a mirror of each other. I also wanted the characters to kind of flow with each other, so I tried to have the characters' poses be bent in and out in different spots. Oh, and I did try playing around with the foot position just to see if maybe it would help the flow, but I didn't like it. However, because I have my undo amount set to a lower number, I wasn't able to fully undo what I did. Thankfully, I do have the other character, so I'm going to flip her position for now and work on her. Now that my rough sketch is done, I lack the transparency and go over my sketch with pink so that I can get started on cleanup. For my cleanup sketch, I'll be keeping it for the final art, so I will not be doing a passive line art. This is mostly because I was kind of wanting a more sketchy and loose feel, but I also never really liked doing line art on my iPad for some reason. However, I haven't really tried doing line art on my iPad in Clip Studio Paint yet, so I may need to give that a go. I sometimes get questions about what iPad I use and what accessories I use when drawing on it. And the iPad I use is a 10.2 7th generation. My pencil is an Apple Pencil, and it may not look like it, but I also have a screen protector on my iPad that gives it a paper texture. It is made by Paperlike, the sponsor of today's video. With Paperlike 2.1, your iPad can feel like paper. This new and improved Paperlike offers better visibility and clarity while maintaining the same paper feel. It is also available for a wide range of iPad models. Alongside the two screen protectors, the package includes some extra items to make applying your Paperlike simple and easy, such as screen wipes, a cleaning cloth, and other items to help you follow along with their how-to video. Since I already have the Paperlike 2.1 on my iPad, here is footage from when I first applied it. I remember I was really nervous, but thankfully Paperlike makes the process super easy if you follow along with their video tutorial. When I switched to Paperlike, I never wanted to go back to my old screen protectors. As a result of the composites used to make the screen protector, Paperlike 2.1 is more transparent, so it's easier to see what I'm working on. Plus, I love the subtle texture and the resistance it provides. It truly does feel like paper. If you want to make your iPad drawing experience feel more natural, I highly recommend checking out Paperlike. There are links in the description and pinned comment down below. So now back to the art. I have to say I really struggled with the hair. mostly because I was trying to get the right flow that I wanted, but I also kind of wanted to draw the hair with loose curls, so that was making things tricky. Also, I just said a bit ago that I needed to try to do line art on the iPad in Clip Studio Paint, and I just noticed as I've been watching back the footage that when drawing the hair, I was kind of basically doing line art. For the hair, I'm not making my lines super sketchy, and I'm using longer, continuous lines. So the fact that I didn't notice that makes me think that I do like doing line art on my iPad in Clip Studio Paint at least. So that's good to know. I think this is because I'm used to how the stabilizer works in Clip Studio Paint. Therefore, I am more comfortable. The stabilizer in Ibis Paint and Procreate always feel very different, and I never quite like the feel of them. This video is supposed to be about my art goals, but I haven't talked about them much yet, have I? Well, like I said, my first goal is to make an original piece of art each month. In 2024, I kind of had the rule that I wasn't allowed to use the original pieces for videos, but I didn't follow that part very well, so I'm not going to include that for this year. If I want to use an original piece for a video, I can. My second goal is to finish my webcomic. If you don't know, I have a webcomic that I post here on YouTube called My Next Door Neighbors. I've been working on it for many years, and I feel like this will be the year that I finish it. I feel confident in saying that because I think there will be only like 2 or 3 more chapters. It feels a little bittersweet saying that, but at the same time, I'm very much looking forward to having it finished. I feel like once it is finished, I may possibly be able to start working on other projects, so that will be nice. Now, I don't know if I would jump into any long-running projects right after my webcomic. If I do work on a project, I get the feeling it may be a shorter one first. And by shorter, I mean something that I could get done within maybe a year or something. I know many of you anticipate me working on Pariah's story, but I already know that will be a long project, just with how complex it is. Oh, also, a bit off topic, but my January break was very nice. I was able to work ahead a bit, and my husband had a handful of days off, so I got to spend some time with him. His brother and sister-in-law also came to visit, and that was really nice. We got to hang out with them for a few days. It was a pretty chill time. On the first day, we went out to eat, came back to the house and watched Transformers 1. It's a really good movie, by the way. I highly recommend it. And we also played a card game called Skull King. It's a pretty fun game. The next day was a Saturday, so we got to bring them to church, and then we went home and made pizza along with cookies. And we also played a lot of different card games while chatting and stuff. It was really nice to chat with them and catch up. Also, on one of the days that my husband had off, we specifically went to Target to buy 2 potatoes. Because for some reason, I was badly craving baked potatoes for like a few days. So far for me, I don't really get weird food cravings with my pregnancy. Instead, I find that I just get a certain food stuck in my head, and my brain will not stop thinking about it until I've had it. So my sweet husband took me to Target so I could make some baked potatoes. Oh, also, I was really struggling with drawing the feet. Well, actually, I only really struggled with this first foot, and more specifically the toes. I often try to avoid drawing bare feet, but they felt like the best fit for this piece, so I tried my best to push through. I do end up with something okay, but off camera, I redid the foot in the front, and thankfully I don't hate it now. So I know that I've only listed 2 art goals, but to be honest, those might be the only 2 that I have. 2025 is going to be a very different year and a very big year. If all goes as it should, I will become a mom, and I feel like this holds a lot of unknowns, especially when it comes to art. And to be honest, this kind of scares me. Art has been my passion for so many years, and I know it's not like I'm completely abandoning it, but I know it will need to take a back seat because our son will be the priority, of course. Also, we are having a boy. We've told all of our family now, so I feel ready to tell all of you. I was actually expecting it to be a boy. For some reason, I just felt like it would be. I would sometimes think maybe the baby was a girl, but I feel like I would have been really surprised if it was one. But something else we learned is that he has a clubbed foot. This means that because of how the baby's foot formed, it is turned inwards. Thankfully, it is very treatable, but it is a long process that lasts a few years. When they told us he had a clubbed foot, I felt like I took the news pretty well. However, as I've had more time to process it, it's been a little bit more weighing on me mentally, since having a baby is already new and scary. But then you're also adding in the baby wearing a cast and needing to switch the cast each week, and wearing a brace and going through all of that. I try to remember that I am very thankful that in all other ways he is looking very healthy and everything is on track. And I am thankful that this is very treatable. I feel like a lot recently I'm often fluctuating between feeling very happy and excited, but also scared and worried. There are a lot of days I feel very overwhelmed, exhausted, and drained. But at the same time, the simple feeling of the baby kicking brings me a lot of joy. Or going by the baby section in stores and seeing cute little baby outfits and thinking about how cute he will be in them. That also makes me really happy. This piece is an expression of the fluctuation of emotions I've been feeling and how they are kind of two sides of the same coin. Sometimes I beat myself up when I'm having a hard time because I feel like I should be so thankful and I feel bad for the negative things I'm feeling. But this picture is a reminder that both feelings can coexist. Just because I have tough days where I complain to myself more or I feel more emotional doesn't mean I'm not also super happy for this little life I've been blessed with. So yeah, those are my thoughts behind this picture. I'm currently working on adding the coloring. For the coloring and rendering, I wanted to keep it fairly simple. There isn't going to be much for rendering. I'm mostly just going to add simple shadows and to help the piece feel more airy, I fade out a lot of the colors, like for the hair and the dress. I thought this would help lighten things up and also make the piece feel more ethereal. The part that took the longest was that I needed to outline a lot of my edges. Since my line work was on the rougher side, this made the coloring also kind of rough if I didn't go in and smooth areas myself. The rougher edges wouldn't really be a big deal if I was using lighter colors, but because I am using the darker tones, the rough edges really stand out a lot. I kept going back and forth on if I wanted the sad character to be mostly black or if I wanted to add blue. I decided to go over the character with blue and I set the layer to screen. I felt like the blue would be a nice complement to the yellow that I'll be adding in. Now I was about to repeat everything I just did for this character for the second character, but then I had the thought of just copying the coloring over to the other character and adjusting the color. And I'm really happy I had the thought to do this because it did save a lot of time. Now that I had the bulk of the art done, I wanted to take things over to Clip Studio Paint on my PC to add the finishing touches. Because I have materials on my PC that I know I like to use, so I felt like it would be easier to finish things up there. In a little bit, I do also go in and add a little bit more shading to the hair and dress, just to add a bit more depth and interest. Oh, and I did just think of another art goal. Or I guess this is more of a YouTube goal, but I think it counts. I want to have about 8 videos pre-made before the baby is born. That way I can take a 2-month break without just abandoning YouTube. During my recent break that I just took, I got 2.5 videos pre-made. 2 are totally done and 1 is recorded but needs to be edited and all that stuff. It will be a bit tricky to get to 8 videos, but I am hoping that I can maybe get a video or 2 done during the weeks where I'll be live streaming instead of posting a video. I suppose this is also a bit of a goal. I hope that I'm able to keep up with live streaming once a month. I do know that I will have to take a break from streaming for the first handful of months after the baby is born, but I am hoping I'll be able to work out a way to stream once a month, since I have really enjoyed having the streaming week in my schedule, and it's a lot of fun to connect with all of you in a new way. And I guess my last goal is that I hope I'll be able to keep up with posting 3 videos a month. Like I said, with becoming a mom, this will bring many changes and unknowns. Our son and caring for him will of course be my top priority, so this may mean I'm unable to post as often. However, I hope that I'll be able to find my flow and keep up with my usual schedule. Oh, also, I am tweaking my first goal a bit of making a personal piece each month. Instead of each month, I'm going to say my goal is to have 12 at the end of the year, because I get the feeling I won't be making any art for the first month that the baby is born. My focus then will just be recovery and survival. So I was feeling almost done with the picture. However, the diamond shape in the background was feeling kind of bland to me. So I started looking through my material library and I found this brush that made a shape of a sun and a moon. And I felt like this fit the picture's theme perfectly because of like how we are having the coexistence of happiness and sadness. We also kind of have the coexistence of day and night. This brush is more of a border brush, so it has 2 lines going through the design. I didn't want the lines, so I erased those out by hand. This was a little bit tricky to do around the points of the sun, but with some time and patience, I got it to work. To keep the piece feeling balanced and having that kind of mirror feeling, I decided to place 2 of these, and I placed the character's head within the sun shapes. I really like this layout because I feel like it helps add a bit of verticality to the piece and kind of helps the viewer's eyes go in an up and down motion. Before adding these, my eyes kept wanting to follow the characters' legs and their dresses. But now that we have these designs, my eyes feel like they want to look more centralized at the piece and more in an up and down motion. And so I'm happy about that. So here's my finished piece. I enjoyed working on it a lot, and I feel like it's the first piece in a while that I've made that kind of has a deeper, more personal meaning to it. And I always enjoy when I get to make pieces like that. Also, to summarize, my art goals for this year are to make 12 original artworks, finish my webcomic, get 8 videos pre-made before the baby arrives, keep up with live streaming, and lastly, posting 3 videos a month. This year will be new and scary, but also exciting, and I'm hopeful for all that is to come. And one more thing before we end, I want to thank my super wonderful YouTube members and Patreon patrons for their support. It means so much to me. Well, that is all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!